Hey everyone, I'm Sneha Mashetty and welcome to my channel, The Girl with an Opinion. In this space, I talk about a bunch of things like books, movies, travel, productivity and finance tips, and a lot more. So, if any of these topics interest you, consider subscribing to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon. I recently went to Bali and met my sister. It was a super chill trip where we didn't have any itinerary or to do list planned. We went with the flow and spent quality sister time together. And in today's video, I'm going to take you through a few snippets of our trip and talk about a few things that might help you when you're planning your Bali trip. So let's get started. My elder sister, who lives in Melbourne, was traveling to Bali for a work conference. This was my chance to accompany her as her plus one. I was traveling from Hyderabad and she was traveling from Melbourne, of course. The flight that I took from Hyderabad was having a layover in Malaysia, and the overall flight time from Hyderabad to Bali was about 8 to 9 hours, of course, excluding the layover time. The flight that my sister took to Bali was the direct one, and it took her about 5 hours to reach there. We planned our flights in a way that we reached the Denpasar airport at around the same time. If you are traveling from Hyderabad or any other part of India like me, you will have two layover options, either Malaysia or Singapore. So you can choose which airport you want to spend your layover in. If you're an Indian traveling to Bali, it is visa on arrival and the process is very simple. All you have to do is pay around $35 once you reach the airport and you'll get your visa stamped. Of course, it is advised that you carry a few documents in case they have any questions. Some of the documents are the COVID vaccine certificate, your return flight ticket, your stay details, two passport size pictures, and your travel insurance. My sister's conference was taking place at Hilton Conrad in Nusa Dua, so we stayed at that property throughout our entire trip. We took a taxi from the airport and reached Nusa Dua in about 30 to 40 minutes. The driver who was driving us was very talkative and very sweet. He gave us running commentary about everything that we were coming across. Since it was late evening by the time we reached, we decided against venturing outside and we thought, let's explore the property. We walked around and explored the beautiful greenery, and also the highlight was that it is a beach facing property, and so we let the sea breeze caress our faces and had such a good time. My sister met her colleagues who were having a conversation about their work, and it was so interesting for me to see what doctors talk about. At the end of the night, we had a dinner buffet and went to sleep early. On day two, my sister woke up early, got ready for her first session of the conference. I woke up a little later because I had nowhere to be, and we met for the breakfast buffet. I absolutely love laid back breakfast during vacations because the feeling of not having to be anywhere, no rush to get to work, and no fear of traffic, I love it. So we took our time, had a good breakfast, a healthy breakfast of cut fruits and ABC juices, iced latte, and a lot of continental stuff. After our breakfast, we decided to walk around Nusa Dua. So we stepped out and walked on these nice, pretty lanes filled with greenery and quaint cafes. I would definitely recommend walking around Nusa Dua because you'll get to see so many places which you would not have if you were going in a car or on a scooter. After the entire walking and little bit of window shopping, we came back to the resort by about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. and the plan was for us to go to Kuta later in the evening. So we freshened up and got ready to leave for Kuta. We took a Grab taxi, and the time to reach from Nusa Dua to Kuta is generally about 20-30 minutes. But as I said, Kuta is a bit crowded in the evening. That took us a little more time, and we reached there in about 40-45 minutes. Our first stop in Kuta was a riverside shopping mall because we thought, hey, why not explore this mall? Because it had good ratings, and it's this outdoor, indoor sort of a mall with open sky and live music, and it's beach facing. So it was a beautiful experience. We walked around, did a little bit of shopping, and then walked on the entire beach lane of Kuta to decide where we want to have dinner. The walk on this Kuta beach lane reminded me of our trip to Sri Lanka where we visited Ella. It was a similar type of vibe, and if you didn't see my Sri Lanka video, I'll leave the link to it somewhere in the description and you can check that out. We finally decided to go to this Italian restaurant called Resto Viva. The reason we chose this restaurant is because it was again open and then it had live music playing, and the lady who was singing there was really good. And so we took the time, sat there, enjoyed the ambience, had long conversations, reminisced old times, had good food, and came back to Nusa Dua. It was a very nice, pleasant evening where my sister and I got a chance to spend some uninterrupted quality sister time. Day 3 was our sightseeing day, and we were super thrilled to explore Ubud, which is a different side of Bali. We had booked a day tour from the resort itself, and it was a very comfortable experience. To reach Ubud from Nusa Dua, it takes about 2 to 3 hours, and our first stop in Ubud was the Batuan temple. To enter this temple, you should be wearing a sarong, and once you buy a ticket, you are given the sarong in the premises itself. The ladies over there are very sweet and will actually help you in tying the sarong. The temple was very beautiful and ancient with a lot of carvings on the wall, and it was such a surreal experience because it was very pleasant and it felt like you're somewhere else altogether. There was a little bit of frustration work going on when we went there, but overall, that did not hinder our experience in any way. The next stop was a coffee plantation, and I sincerely believe coffee doesn't leave me anywhere I go. We had an entire coffee plantation tour where we were taken through the Arabica and Robusta plantation. Apart from that, they had a lot of spices that they were growing. Bali is actually very famous for the spices. So, if you are visiting, you can think of purchasing cloves, cardamom, and any other kind of local spices that you get in these plantations. One more highlight is their coffee called Kopi Luwak. Pardon me if I'm saying the name wrong, but this coffee is made from partially digested coffee beans that are ingested by civets in the coffee plantation. Basically, the logic is that these civets only pick the best quality coffee pods and only ingest those. Because they can't digest them, they obviously poop them out, and these are cleaned very thoroughly and processed to make very fine quality coffee. This coffee is actually more expensive compared to any other kind of coffee you get there.
This is the Bali coffee, yeah, regular Arabica coffee.
Yeah.
This is the true coffee of the luwak.
Uh,
So they are come out like this, and then the
uh,
first step we need to wash first. Yeah. So this is coffee after being washed, but the bean still covering with the layer. So
Yes.
before roasted, we open here the shell, and then the seed of the coffee bean we have to clean again. Maybe later you want to taste. Don't worry and don't thinking about the food because we are clean. So this is the Bali coffee, spices like turmeric, ginger, galangal, cinnamon, clove, and pepper. Over there is the way to making coffee. Like for a kilo coffee, sit down roasted for 1 hour until to get black foam. Wow. One hour. Yeah. And then here, powder, we need to ground the coffee. last process, we do so this is powder directly can use, yeah. When you prepare it, just making 1 teaspoon and then hot water. Now we can go into the table, yeah.
After the plantation tour, we had a nice coffee and tea tasting.
Straw prevent cancer. This is the Bali coffee normal. Lemongrass for the slim body. Red rice for the bones. Ginger tea for stomach problem. This is rosella for blood circulation. And then avocado coffee. Enjoy your drink. Thank you. So you can enjoy with the tea first. Later you go with the coffee. Okay.
And by the end of this tasting, we were very heavily caffeinated. Our next stop was the famous Bali rice terraces. The rice terrace that we went to had a really nice view, a cafe inside the rice terrace, and nice loud music playing. So it was a really good vibe. And once we bought the ticket, we got access to the entire field. And we didn't choose to take the swing choice because it had a long line and we didn't want to do it. However, with the ticket, we got access to the entire rice paddy field and also a few spots where we can take good pictures. It was a really good experience where we saw a lot of greenery and the vantage view from the rice paddy fields is really good. Overall, it was a very nice experience in Ubud, and if you are traveling to Ubud and if your itinerary permits, I would recommend staying there for the night because the place has a lot to offer and staying there overnight will give you the chance to explore everything. On the way to these rice paddy terraces, we saw a lot of shops which are actually owned by local artists and artisans in Ubud. And if you want to buy the famous Bali handbags or any other artifacts, I would definitely recommend buying it from them because you would get at a better price as they export from there to other locations like Kuta, etc. Also, because these are local artists, it would really encourage them if you buy it from them. After the entire day trip in Ubud, we came back to Nusa Dua, pampered ourselves with massages and pedicures, ordered in dinner, and called it a night. On day 4, my sister went for her morning conference session and came back. After breakfast, we decided we want to really take advantage of the pool at the property. We drenched ourselves in sunscreen, went to the pool, and stayed by the pool for a very, very long time. We had the coconut water there, which was so delicious, but let me be honest, it's very hard to finish because these coconuts are really huge. We had a really good time eating a lot of food, reading, napping, doing idhar udhar ki baatein, taking a few laps in the pool and coming back. Overall, we were by the pool most of the day until evening and then came back to our room. We decided we want to go back to Kuta to explore the pub scene. So that's what we did the evening. We explored the pub scene, had a good time, and reminisced old times because that's what we did when we were younger and then called it a night. Day 5 was the day we were traveling back, and when we booked our flight tickets, we booked it in a way that we could leave for the airport at the same time. We reached the airport, had breakfast, checked in, and said our goodbyes to each other. I will forever cherish this trip because we got to spend such quality sister time together. When we were younger and together in Hyderabad, we spent so much time together, and this trip felt like an ode to that time back in life. So, yeah, it was a great time, and the bonus was that we were able to do it with a beautiful backdrop of Bali. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon.